She said, I'm going to my high school reunion with my first love as friends. I said, have fun. Then I went as her rivals plus one. The look on her face when we walked in together. Original post. I, 38, male, watched my wife Rebecca light up like a Christmas tree when the invitation arrived 3 months ago. Her 20-year high school reunion. She instantly went into planning mode. Diet, new dress, the whole thing. Fair enough, I thought. Typical reunion behavior. Then Garrett entered the picture. Oh my God, Garrett messaged me, she squealed one evening, holding up her phone. We dated senior year. He's divorced now too. I mean, he's divorced, period. That little slip didn't escape me. Over the next few weeks, their texting ramped up. Late-night notifications, smiling at her phone during dinner. Whenever I asked what was so funny, she'd brush me off. Just reminiscing about old times. The real kicker came 2 weeks before the reunion. So Garrett and I are going to arrive together, she announced over breakfast. As friends, obviously. We were voted cutest couple senior year, and people want to see us walk in together for old time's sake. I slowly set down my coffee. You want to go to your reunion with your ex instead of your husband? Don't be insecure, Tom. It's literally just walking through a door. You'll meet us there. Rebecca. That's... God, why do you have to make everything weird? It's nostalgic, that's all. Like a reunion tradition. Everyone does it. Everyone goes with their high school ex instead of their spouse? She rolled her eyes. You're being controlling. It's one entrance. 5 seconds. Then we'll all hang out together. What she didn't know was that her old high school rival Jessica worked at the same company as me. Different departments, but we'd become decent friends over coffee breaks, bonding over spreadsheets and ridiculous corporate policies. That afternoon, I grabbed coffee with Jessica. Becky's actually doing it? Jessica laughed after I told her. She's really showing up with Garrett. Apparently, Jessica smirked. God, she always was obsessed with him. She used to glare at me senior year because he asked me to homecoming junior year. She stirred her latte before adding, good times. Then she looked at me carefully. You okay with this? Do I look okay with this? You look like a man whose wife is about to do something incredibly stupid. She paused. I'm going solo, by the way. My husband's at a conference. We looked at each other, and the idea formed at the exact same moment. You thinking what I'm thinking? She asked. Depends. You still fit into your prom dress? She grinned. Better. I've got something that'll make Becky's head explode. Update 1. The 2 weeks leading up to the reunion were interesting. Rebecca went into full overdrive. Salon appointments. A new dress that cost $400. It's a special occasion. Gym every morning. Meanwhile, she was constantly attached to her phone. Garrett this, Garrett that. He's having such a hard time with his divorce, she'd say. I'm just being supportive. Right. 3 days before the reunion, she dropped another bomb. So we're getting ready at Garrett's place. His apartment's closer to the venue. I nearly choked on my dinner. You're getting ready at his apartment? With other people, obviously. A few old friends. It's like a pre-party. One you didn't invite me to. Babe, you wouldn't know anyone. You'd be bored. I know you. She sighed dramatically. Why are you making this difficult? Just meet us there at 7. Meanwhile, Jessica and I had our own plans. She found the perfect dress, emerald green, elegant, and just spiteful enough. We agreed to arrive fashionably late at 7:30 for maximum impact. The day of the reunion, Rebecca left at noon. For a 7:10 p.m. event. I'll see you there, she called out as she left, not even bothering to kiss me goodbye. I texted Jessica. She just left, didn't even pretend this was normal. Perfect. Pick me up at 7. Let's give them a show. At 6:45, Rebecca texted me. Where are you? On my way. Hurry up. Garrett wants to do the entrance at 7:15. Garrett wants. Not we want. Garrett wants. I put on my best suit, picked up Jessica, who looked absolutely stunning and definitely not like anyone's second choice, and we headed to the venue. We timed it perfectly. We walked in at 7:32, right as cocktail hour was in full swing. The venue was basically the fanciest ballroom in town. They'd gone all out, decorations, photo booth, even a slideshow of senior year photos looping on repeat. Jessica slipped her arm through mine. Ready? Let's do this. The doors opened. The first person we saw was Derek, the former class president. His eyes widened immediately. Jessica and Tom? Rebecca's Tom? Hey, Derek, Jessica said with a sweet smile. You remember Tom from the company picnic, right? The Whisper Network kicked into action instantly. By the time we made it to the bar, half the room was staring. Then I saw her. Rebecca was standing beside Garrett near the photo backdrop, his hand resting on her lower back while they posed for pictures like they were an actual couple. She was laughing at something he said, that fake laugh she uses when she's trying too hard. Jessica squeezed my arm. 3 o'clock incoming. Rebecca's friend Melissa had spotted us and was speed-walking toward her. I watched Melissa whisper into Rebecca's ear. Watched my wife's head whip around. Watched the color drain from her face the second she saw Jessica on my arm. That look. God, that look was everything. Confusion, rage, embarrassment, panic. All at once. She marched straight toward us, Garrett trailing behind her, looking completely confused. What the hell are you doing? She hissed the moment she reached us. Having a drink with my date, I replied calmly. Jessica, you remember Rebecca. Becky? Jessica smiled brilliantly. Love your dress, very bold for your body type. Rebecca's face immediately turned red. You brought her? Well, my husband was busy, Jessica said with a shrug, and Tom needed a +1. Worked out perfectly. Your husband? Rebecca sputtered. I'm your wife. Oh, I know, I said. You're the one who seemed to forget that when you decided to show up with... I looked over at Garrett. Sorry, man. I don't think we've officially met. I'm Tom, Rebecca's husband. You must be the ex. She's been texting nonstop. To Garrett's credit, he looked uncomfortable. Yeah. Garrett, nice to meet you. Likewise, cute matching colors, by the way. They were both wearing navy. We didn't plan, Rebecca started. Sure. I turned back to Jessica. Want to grab that drink? I think they're doing signature cocktails. Love to. We walked away, leaving Rebecca standing there with her mouth hanging open. Update 2. The rest of the night was complete chaos, and I enjoyed every second of it. Rebecca's first move was damage control. About 20 minutes after our first confrontation, she cornered me near the bathrooms. You're embarrassing me, she whispered furiously. I'm embarrassing you? You literally brought another man as your date. It's not a date. God, Tom, grow up. This is childish. What's childish is pretending you're back in high school with your ex-boyfriend while your husband stays home. You weren't supposed to. She stopped herself. I wasn't supposed to what? I asked. Show up at all? Her silence said everything. Wow, I said quietly. You actually didn't want me here. That's not... You're twisting things. Jessica appeared around the corner. Oh, sorry. Am I interrupting? Tom, they're about to announce the superlatives. Rebecca's eye twitched. Superlatives? Yeah, you know, Jessica said with a smile. Like high school. Most likely to succeed. Best dressed. She paused. Most likely to never move on from high school. That kind of thing. The tension was thick enough to slice through. Rebecca grabbed my arm. We need to talk. Outside. Now. Actually, I'm good here. But you should probably get back to Garrett. He looks lost without you. I glanced across the room. Garrett was standing alone near the bar, checking his phone and looking deeply uncomfortable. Rebecca stormed off. The superlatives were incredible. Jessica won most successful. She's a VP at our company. Rebecca and Garrett won most likely to relive senior year, which wasn't even an official category. Someone shouted it out from the crowd, and everyone laughed and went along with it. But the real explosion happened during dinner. Jessica and I were seated at table 12. Rebecca and Garrett were at table 3 with their old friend group. Halfway through dinner, they stirred up a slideshow titled, Where Are They Now? When Jessica's slide came up, it showed her corporate headshot along with her title. Then it switched to a candid photo from the company picnic where she and I were visible in the background, laughing at something. Wait, someone said loudly. Tom works at Henderson Corp too? Yep, Jessica called out cheerfully. We're coffee buddies, best spreadsheet reviewer in the business. Every eye in the room turned toward Rebecca. She was completely burgundy. Then Garrett Slide appeared. Failed real estate agent. Recently divorced. Living in a studio apartment. Compared to Jessica's success, the contrast was brutal. Someone at Rebecca's table, because wine is basically truth serum, blurted out, "Damn." Becky traded down from that to that, pointing first at me sitting with Jessica, then at Garrett. The entire room erupted. Rebecca shot to her feet so fast she knocked over her wine glass. This is ridiculous. Tom and I are married. He's here with her to hurt me because he's jealous and controlling. The room fell silent. Then Jessica stood up. Controlling? Becky, honey, he's here because you told him you were arriving with your ex-boyfriend. What exactly did you expect? That he'd sit home while you played reunion queen with the guy you're obviously still not over? I am over him. Your text history says otherwise, I said quietly, but everyone heard it. You went through my phone? No. You left it open on the counter. Hard to miss. Can't wait to see you. Followed by heart emojis at 1AT, and gasps. Actual gasps. Garrett finally spoke. Those weren't, shut up, Garrett, Rebecca snapped. The DJ, bless him, chose that exact moment to crank the music up loud, but the damage had already been done. Update 3. Rebecca didn't come home that night. I know because I left the reunion around 10 p.m. after Jessica and I had thoroughly made our point. She laughed the entire drive back to her place. Did you see her face when they announced the couple's dance and we walked out there? I thought she might actually combust. Tom, I haven't had that much fun in years. Thank you for letting me be petty with you. Likewise. I got home to an empty house, which was perfectly fine with me. I poured myself a scotch and sat out on the porch replaying the night in my head. My phone kept exploding with texts from numbers I didn't recognize. Apparently, I become reunion legend for the most savage +1 move anyone had ever seen. At 2 a.m., Rebecca finally came home drunk. Garrett drove her. I watched from the window as they sat in his car for a solid 10 minutes before she got out. At one point, he leaned in for something, a kiss, and she pushed him away. She stumbled to the front door, struggled with her keys, and finally made it inside. You ruined everything, she slurred. I ruined what exactly? Your chance to pretend you were still 18? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? She collapsed onto the couch. You don't understand. Everyone always liked Jessica better. Always. Even in high school. I finally had Garrett. The one thing she didn't get. And then you show up with her. So this was about Jessica? No. Yes. I don't know. She started crying. Garrett and I were special. We were supposed to be special. Rebecca, you're married to me. Remember? That's different. And there it was. The truth. Different. I was real life. Garrett was fantasy. She didn't answer. The next morning, hungover and miserable, she tried a completely different angle. I want you to apologize. I nearly spit out my coffee. Excuse me. You humiliated me publicly. You need to apologize. Rebecca, you literally took another man as your date. It wasn't a date. You got ready at his apartment with other people. Name one other person who was there. Silence. I'm going to stay with my sister, she announced. Okay? She blinked. That's it? Okay? What exactly do you want me to say? You're a grown woman. If you need space to figure out why you thought it was acceptable to date your ex-boyfriend in front of the entire town, go ahead. She packed a bag and left, but not before throwing out one final gem. I'm telling everyone what you did, how you conspired with Jessica, how you've probably been sleeping with her the whole time. Rebecca, we're friends, work friends, unlike you and Garrett's one nows and heart emoji situation. She slammed the door behind her. Update 4. The following week was absolute chaos. Rebecca went completely nuclear. First, she called my mother. I know because Mom called me afterward laughing. Actually laughing. Tommy, Did you really show up to Rebecca's reunion with another woman? Mom, Rebecca showed up with her ex-boyfriend. Oh, I know. She explained it as innocent nostalgia and said you turned it into something ugly because of your jealousy. And you said, I asked her why innocent nostalgia required getting ready at his apartment and leaving her husband home alone. Then she hung up on me. Tommy, I never liked her. There, I said it. Then came the social media campaign. Rebecca posted a long, dramatic rant about toxic masculinity, controlling behavior, and how some men can't handle their wives having male friends. The comments did not go the way she expected. Her cousin, didn't you literally take your ex as your date though? Her coworker, girl, everyone saw the photos. You were all over him. Someone from high school, wow, Tom's a legend for showing up with Jessica. Power move. She deleted the post within hours. But the best part came when Garrett's ex-wife contacted me through LinkedIn, of all places. Hi Tom, you don't know me, but I'm Garrett's ex-wife. Heard about the reunion. Just thought you should know. We divorced because he was sleeping with a coworker. But before that, he spent months texting someone late at night. The number was saved as B. The timeline matches up with when your wife said they reconnected. Do whatever you want with that information. I confronted Rebecca when she came back to grab more clothes. Garrett's ex says you two were texting while he was still married. Her face instantly went pale. That's not, we were just friends back then? Like you're just friends now? Yes. Rebecca, I'm done playing this game. If you want Garrett, have him. I'm filing for divorce. The entitlement showed up immediately. You can't divorce me. I didn't do anything wrong. You emotionally cheated at minimum. That's not even a thing. It absolutely is. Fine. Then I want the house, alimony, and half your 401k. The house we rent. And alimony when you make nearly as much as I do. Good luck with that. She apparently didn't realize we lived in a no-fault state with very straightforward asset division. We'd only been married 3 years, had no kids, and barely anything to split. I'll tell everyone you cheated with Jessica. Go ahead, we didn't. But you know what? Everyone already knows you went to your reunion with your ex. Then she switched to tears. Please, Tom, I made a mistake. One mistake. Was it one mistake when you texted him for months? One mistake when you planned to go with him? One mistake when you got ready at his apartment? Which exact mistake are we talking about? Then came the guilt trip from her mother. Thomas, marriage is about forgiveness. Rebecca is devastated. She's devastated there were consequences. You humiliated her. She humiliated herself and me. I just returned the favor by showing up with another woman. That woman is my friend who helped me keep my dignity while your daughter tried to relive her glory days. The divorce was filed. Rebecca fought it at first and demanded counseling. The mediator shut that down quickly once I showed the text messages. Yes, I had screenshots from when she left her phone open. But my favorite moment came when I ran into Garrett at a gas station. Hey man, he said awkwardly. Sorry about everything. No worries. How's it going with Rebecca? Oh, we're not. I mean, after the reunion she got kind of intense, you know? I actually laughed. So you two aren't getting back together? God, no. She texts me constantly. Constantly. And she keeps talking about high school. We're almost 40, man. It's weird. Rebecca had destroyed her marriage for a fantasy that didn't even want her back. Final update. The divorce was finalized last month. 6 months from reunion to finished. Rebecca fought it all the way to the end, but she ended up with basically none of what she demanded. No alimony. She makes 90% of what I make. Our minimal assets were split evenly. She had to get her own apartment because, surprise, we were renting, and she couldn't afford the place on her own. The last time I saw her was at the final hearing. She brought Garrett for support. He looked like he wanted to be literally anywhere else. He kept checking his phone and stepping outside for work calls. After the judge finalized everything, Rebecca cornered me outside. I hope you're happy. You destroyed us over nothing. Rebecca, you destroyed us when you chose to pursue your ex. I told you it was innocent. And I told you I didn't believe you. Garrett himself told me you've been texting him non-stop since the reunion. She turned bright red. He said that? Yeah. He also said you're intense and stuck in high school. His words. At that exact moment, Garrett came outside. Ready to go? He didn't even look at her, just kept staring at his phone. Yes. As they walked away, I heard him say, I can drop you off, but I've got a date tonight. The look on her face was priceless. Jessica and I stayed friends. Good friends. Despite what Rebecca told everyone, we never dated. Jessica actually started seeing someone from accounting a few months later. I was genuinely happy for her. You know, she said over coffee last week, that reunion was probably the best thing that ever happened to you. How do you figure? It showed you who Rebecca really was. Can you imagine if this happened 5 or 10 years from now with kids involved? She was right. From what I hear through the grapevine, Rebecca isn't doing well. She's been trying to date, but she keeps comparing everyone either to Garrett, who completely ghosted her, or to me, who she now describes as the one who got away. Her sister reached out to me last week. She's miserable. Says she made a huge mistake. She made several. She wants to know if you'd ever consider trying again. No. And that was it. Because what else was there to say? She wanted her high school fantasy. She got it. It just turned out to be nothing like she imagined. The truth is, I'm doing well. Better than well. I bought a small condo, started playing guitar again. Rebecca hated the noise and joined a hiking group. Life is quieter now, but it feels more real. The reunion story, though, became legendary. Jessica told me people still talk about it. Most savage +1 move in reunion history, apparently. Rebecca posted something last week about learning to forgive yourself for choosing the wrong path, and how sometimes your soulmate is actually your destruction. The comments were brutal. One person simply replied, "Girl, you chose your ex over your husband." The path was clearly marked. She deleted her social media shortly after that. As for me, I learned something valuable. When someone shows you who they really are, when they choose fantasy over reality, when they gaslight you about behavior that's obviously inappropriate, when they expect you to quietly accept being disrespected, believe them. And sometimes the best response isn't anger, tears, or begging. Sometimes it's simply showing up with their high school rival and dancing to "I Will Survive" while they watch their fantasy fall apart in real time. Worth it.